Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel UiPath tutorials. In this video, I am going to tell you some of the questions on REFramework that will be helpful to you in your advanced certification. Now, not wasting more time, let's start with the question 1, where we define credential asset name in config sheet. So in the config file, we had 3 sheets: name, constants, settings, assets. So basically we define credential asset name in settings file. In settings sheet in the config file. Now question 2 is what changes we need to do to make REFramework linear. So if we want to work on a single transaction, then what exactly we have to do and what changes we have to make in the REFramework. So for that, in the get transaction data, you have to use the condition as a in transaction number equals to 1 with by using the if activity. So in the if activity, you have to write the condition as in transaction number equals to 1. Then you have to do these steps. Otherwise, the bot will going to end the transactions. So in that way, you can make your REFramework linear. And just remember that by default, the REFramework is not linear. It is a transactional base. Now moving to the next question is question 3, in which workflow we add or remove log fields. Log fields, or it can be asked as where we write the custom logs. So we have to write the custom logs in the set transaction status XAML file, which is called in process state. Next question: what is the default type of transaction data variable? So the default type is data table. Sometimes the user get confused or the developer get confused what is the answer here, because when the default RE in the default RE framework, majorly we work on the queue. But just remember it, the transaction data will remain as a data table because we are not reusing it when we are working on the queues. Now next is by default, which state need to config to adapt RE framework to a linear process? And the answer is get transaction data. In the previous question I told you, to make a linear process, we have to use the in transaction equals to 1 in the if activity. So this is a similar kind of question but asked in a different way. Next question is which argument in process workflow does the business context information hold? So we hold the information in transaction item, and by default the in transaction item is a queue type. What is the default type of in transaction item? And the default type is queue item basically, and that can be changed on the basis of the requirements. Now question 8 is what is RE framework by default? Is it performer or dispatcher? So when I have given the certification, this question was present there, and there were a number of options there like the dispatcher, performance dispatcher, or the performer only. So the answer is performer only. So by default the RE framework is always a performer. To make it a dispatcher, we have to do the design change. Next, name the global variables of RE framework. So these are the global variables of RE frameworks: transaction item, system exception, business exception, transaction number, config, retry number, transaction field 2, 1, transaction ID, transaction data. Question 10, what is the default value of in transaction number? So when we create a RE framework, so by default, the 1 is passed in transaction number. Question 11. What happens if bot fails in init state? So bot will go to the end state directly. If it fails in init state, it will not going to retry, but it will go to the end state directly without retrying. How to read a particular asset value in init state if asset is defined as below in config file? So this particular question was asked in my UiARD exam when I have given it. So they have given a multiple options there. So I have to choose the correct one. So this is basically the name defined in the asset file, and this is the asset name defined in the orchestrator file. Sorry, on the orchestrator. Now, to use the particular asset, how we have to define it? And we have to define it like config. We have to pass the name, that is file name dot toString. Next question. What is the value of max retry number if we are not working with the queues and also we want retry mechanism? So any value greater than 0. So this question was also asked in the UiARD exam, where they have provided the multiple options, and answer is any value greater than 0, because if we make the 0, it will not going to retry. It should always be a greater than 0. And remember, we are not working with the queues in that case. Now, next question is, which activity executes first when system exception occur in process state and bot is executing set transaction states.xaml file? Some of the options are given below, like close application, take screenshot, set transaction status, init all application. Now we have to rearrange these. If in the process state some exception occurs, how exactly which particular activity will going to execute? So we have to rearrange it. Like first the set transaction status file will call, then inside that the take screenshot is something is another workflow is there which is invoked. Then after that we are doing the close application, and then it will go to the init all application. So this kind of question is will you will see in the UiARD exam, where they will ask you to rearrange in a correct order. Question 15. In which states of RE framework close application .xaml file used? So in end state and the process state, close application XAML file is used. Next, in which state of RE framework kill all process.xaml file used? So in init state, process state, and end state. In 3 state, we are using the kill all process XAML file. Now init state and end state, everyone aware of it, but in the process state is we are using it, and we are using it in the set transaction status XAML file. Inside that we are using close application, and that close application is failed in any cases, then it will go to the cache where we are using this kill all process.xaml file, where we are invoking this file. You can check the RE framework for it. Okay, now in which states of RE framework kill all process XAML file is used? This, okay, we have already covered it. Next question. Developer has enabled the auto retry option to true and provided one max number of retries and queues. Now the developer has enabled a queue option, like the developer is using the queue, and he has provided a value 1 in the retries queues. Developer has also set max retry value in config file to 2. Okay, so developer has also set max retry value in config file to 2. Now developer has also set the max retry value in config file to 2. Now he has provided one value in the queue also, and he has provided the 2 value in the config file also. On running process, which max retry will be considered by bot? So bot will pick queue retry number. That is the priority always. If the developer has selected the retry option of the queue and he has also given the value in the config file, then the bot will going to pick the retry number which has been given in the orchestrator queues. Now, question 19. If system exception occurred in a process state, is bot going to load init all settings YAML file? If system exception occurred in process state, is bot going to load init all settings YAML file? So no. As a bot load init all setting.xaml file only once during bot execution. When we run the bot the first time, so there is a sequence as a first run there, name as a first run. It will going to run at the first time only, and inside that it is we are having the init all settings for .xaml files. Basically we are invoking that XAML file there. Now bot will going to invoke only once it if the system exception occurred on the process state any number of time, the bot will not going to execute it. The bot will going to execute the init all applications every time when system exception occurred on process state. So answer is no. It will going to execute only once. Now question 20 is what happens if bot fails in close all applications YAML file? The bot executes the kill all process YAML file in cache block. So wherever in the RE framework, the close application.xaml file is invoked, and if it failed due to any system exception, then the bot will going to execute the kill all process.xaml file which is invoked in the catch block. Next question is the process is designed in RE framework and the process is running from orchestrator and processing the fifth queue item. Users stop the bot from the orchestrator jobs. Which state should stop activity in RE framework? In which state should stop activity present in RE framework? That's correct. In get transaction data state, so the basically in the get transaction data state we are having that should stop activity. So the bot will come to get transaction state and checks the stop signal with the help of should stop activity. If user has asked to stop bot from job, then bot will end process without any issue. The best thing to use this feature is to process ongoing transaction end to end. So basically what is exactly the meaning of this sentence is, so if bot failed in the process state, sorry, if the bot is stopped, if we have the user requested to stop the bot and the bot is in the process state is processing some item, it will going to complete that item end to end and come to the get transaction state and will check is user requested to stop the bot. If yes, then it will come smoothly and go to the end state and the bot will stop. The next question is bot is on the process state and business exception occurred. Which state does the bot execute next? So if business exception is occurred on in the process state, then it will go to the get transaction state in the case of business exception, and if system exception occur, then it will go to the init state. Now question number 23, in which workflow in transaction number increased by 1? So basically this increment is happening in set transaction state.xaml and retry current transaction.xaml files. These are the two XAML files which is used in the process state. In which state does queue item status change? So in process and get transaction state, the queue item is changed. In get transaction state, it changed the status of new item to in progress, and in the process state it mark it as a failed or successful on the basis of the transaction items. Now what is the sequence of state machine? Sequence which particular activity will going to execute first, and which will going to execute next, and then next, and which will be the last. So activity in the entry sections are performed first, then the trigger conditions are evaluated where we have given the conditions. Now activity in exit sections are performed third. Fourth, activities in trigger actions are performed, and last the destination, it will go to the destination state. 20 is 26th question. Name two activities that are specific to state machines. So one is state and one is final state. Next question, question 27. Each state that is not a final state must have at least one transaction. Is this statement is true? Yes, this is true, because we can have more than one final state in state machine. Now question 28 is, how many final state can be present in statement machine? So it can be more than one. It can be more than one. But by default only one is present when we are working on the RD framework, the default RD framework. But yes, we can use more than one. Can there be more than one initial state? No, there will be always one. So these are all the questions we have covered. Question 20, we have 24 questions here, and we have almost touched each and every question. And if you have any doubt, you can comment on my video. And thanks for watching my video. This is the last slide, and please subscribe my channel UiPath tutorials for upcoming videos on UiARD exam. And you can also subscribe my Facebook page. This is the URL. And you can also subscribe my Instagram page for RP memes. Now this is the URL. It is not having the S here, so it is UiPath tutorial only for the RP memes page. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye.